Detective Barnes was a 9-year veteran of the Phoenix Police Department and considered an up-and-comer on the force. 9 months prior, he had been promoted to the coveted Homicide Division and was eager to prove himself as a capable and keen investigator. In his mid-30s, tall, with a square jaw supported by a powerful jawline, Barnes had a brawny build that filled out the polo shirts he typically wore with plain khaki slacks. He had short, cropped hair, warm brown eyes, and ears that protruded ever so slightly. An hour earlier, Barnes had been at home spending time with his children when he got the call from his sergeant. A body had been discovered in the desert. Moments later, he was in his cruiser racing toward the crime scene. By the time he arrived, officers had already cordoned off a large area of land surrounding the body. Barnes was assigned as the lead detective. So far, most of his homicide cases had been routine. When he agreed to cover the on-call shift for a fellow detective, he hardly expected to be assigned such a ghoulish murder. It was a Saturday, at about 2 p.m. A recent rain had strewn small puddles across the desert floor, which glistened in the sunlight. Barnes stepped away from the body and scanned the scene. The vacant swath of desert where the tub had been dumped was east of the intersection of Tatum and Dynamite Boulevards, about 30 miles from the bustling region of downtown Phoenix. Bordering the desert along the east side of Tatum Boulevard was a barbed wire fence with a large gap wide enough for a vehicle to pass through. A dirt road cut diagonally across the southwest corner of the intersection. At the entrance, a small sign read, "State Trust Land. No trespassing." The vacant desert parcel was blocked on 2 sides by housing developments. Rooftops could be seen to the west and north, while the areas to the south and east were open desert. Unlike the densely populated downtown region of Phoenix, where many of the city's 1.5 million inhabitants lived and worked, the surrounding neighborhoods consisted of peaceful suburbs occupied by affluent young residents. Families spent summer here swimming in backyard pools. Couples walked their dogs in the evenings, and children rode bikes along the roadways after school. Undeveloped patches of land among the walled-in subdivisions were common in this part of the valley. The recent boom in the housing market had pushed construction to the edge of the city limits, where homes cropped up like tumbleweeds. Suburban sprawl metastasized outward into the desert, endless concrete and asphalt raising the natural Sonoran splendor. In the surrounding developments, new tract homes were built uniformly, in a limited variety of designs, and painted one of half a dozen shades of beige. The sporadic empty desert plots were a constant reminder of what lay underneath the strip malls, gas stations, and grocery stores. An oasis of oblivion. Investigators fanned out along the stretch of desert to collect evidence. Detective Barnes and Officer Barry Giesman placed protective covers on their shoes and did a walkthrough of the area, while a crime scene specialist took photographs. "Where's the rest of him?" Giesman asked. "Who knows?" Barnes glanced back at the tub. "Maybe we'll find the head somewhere around here." The plastic tub had been dumped about 50 feet from the street, north of a widened area in the dirt road that was just large enough for a vehicle to turn around. On the ground, there appeared to be a faint trace of weathered tire tracks. A slight amount of soil, small pebbles, and dead plant material were scattered to the north side of the tire impression, as if dropped by the right wheel when the car pulled ahead. By the time investigators arrived, the tracks were too eroded to identify anything about the vehicle that had been used to dump the body. A few hundred feet from the corpse, clear sheets of crumpled plastic were found tangled in the desert shrubs. All of the other evidence was near the 55-gallon plastic tub. It was covered by a dingy white futon mattress and a tan section of carpet, which did not do much to mask the dirty tub and its grisly contents. Part of the blue tub could be seen from the roadway by any passing motorist. This discovery, however, had been made by a wandering pedestrian. A little after noon, a transient named Robert Aim left the construction site where he was living.